Be afraid. Be very afraid. President Joe Biden, or Slow-Mo Joe as I like to call him, is set to announce this week that he'd like to run for, wait for it, another 4 years in the White House. Although by the looks of it, he could barely manage the next 4 days. The wobbly leader of the free world, who needs to be reminded every 10 minutes that he's actually president, and who's the first commander-in-chief to have more nurses than security guards, is set to tell American voters that he wants to finish the job, even though it's abundantly clear he can barely finish a sentence. Does America want 4 more years of this?
You see this tie I have with a shamrock on it? This was given to me by one of these guys right here. Was a hell of a rugby player, and they beat the hell out of the Black and Tans. Oh, God.
Yes, that famous rugby team, the Black and Tans. Now, I've never been particularly partisan when it comes to American politics, but my preference tends to be for the stronger candidate rather than the stronger party, given the fact that it's the values and skill set of one man or woman that shapes America during their 4 years in charge. That said, the Democrats have dropped, in my estimation, in recent years, with Barack Obama insulting this country by saying we'd be at the back of the queue for a trade deal if we dared to leave the European Union. What a slap in the face. And it was the Democratic blue states who were the worst purveyors of COVID tyranny, with lockdowns and mask and vaccine mandates far more egregious and strict than in red states like Ron DeSantis' Florida or Greg Abbott's Texas. And it was Biden's White House who leaned on social media giants like Twitter to destroy free speech and crush dissent during COVID. Slow-Mo Joe is, in my view, presiding over the downfall of the greatest nation on earth, the United States, a global beacon of enterprise, diversity, democracy and freedom. Under Slow-Mo Joe, American cities are falling apart, riven with homelessness, drug abuse, violence and social disorder, all whilst the most woke president in history backs divisive causes like the Black Lives Matter movement, effectively Marxists who want to destroy the nuclear family, defund the police and end capitalism. Now, be clear, racism is the most evil stain on humanity and casts an appalling shadow over American society. But BLM is not the answer. And Slow-Mo Joe is more than happy to see teenagers mutilated with gender reassignment surgery and puberty blockers in order to perpetuate the madness of gender ideology, which says you can change your sex, whatever your age, regardless of the consequences. Don't forget, this is the president who presided over the catastrophic surrender to the Taliban in Afghanistan, leaving billions of dollars worth of military equipment in the hands of those lawless, woman-hating, homophobic gangsters, the Taliban themselves. America's clumsy withdrawal was a moment of national shame for a once great and proud country. The economy is in the toilet too, with that terrifying debt ceiling set to go even higher, demonstrating that for all their economic growth, America is so over-leveraged now, so indebted, it's a business model that would keep even the notorious financial crook Bernard Madoff awake at night worrying. And 4 more years of Biden would be bad for Britain. This president clearly has a chip on his shoulder about this country, refusing to give interviews to the BBC because it's British, siding with the EU on Brexit and the Northern Ireland Protocol, stalling on a trade deal that Trump, for all his sins, would have signed in his sleep, and famously snubbing our great King Charles for what is the biggest constitutional moment for this country in 70 years, the coronation. So much for the special relationship. Given the threat of China, economically, military and also diplomatically, we need a strong and successful USA. We've got the opposite right now under Joe Biden. If America rises, we all rise. If America falls, we all fall. 4 more years of Biden would be suicide for America. Slow-Mo Joe has got to go.